Big up, people. Big up. Welcome back to the Tuesday night, I'd like, to the old school show. I have to say, DJB, Shane, your channel early, lit. Absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it. And yeah, I agree with you. The Carlisle shirt was the best of the best on your show tonight. Carlisle United, what a great club. Sad what's happened to them right now. But there we go. Let's move it on. Shane, good to see you, my friend. How you doing? Well?
Yeah, all good, all good. Always a pleasure coming on for the old school show. One of the shows I look forward to the most. Big up to the legendary chat, and big up, of course, to Kenny Ken and DJB and yourself. And looking forward to getting into it. We have a few good points that we were mentioning there backstage, and yeah, looking forward to getting into this because they're points that clearly need to be spoken about, and that's what we're here for. Big up for having me on, as always.
No, it's always a pleasure, man. DJB, my friend, great show, man. Great show. I love that retro. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
it is. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it just gets you away from everything.
Yeah, that's great, man. It's great. Kenny Ken, it's good to have you back, man. And
thanks for having me on. I just want to talk about two things. I want to talk about those boots that are in those Gola boots. That reminds me of the 1970s. You remember the 1970s? You know, when players like Trevor Brooking wore them, and you remember we used to watch the big match of the day, right? Especially in the mid-70s. So those Gola boots remind me of the England team in 1977, 78. Didn't get to the World Cup final.
Brilliant.
But you that boots. I remember a guy, Trevor Brooking, wearing them all day, play for the wrong side. Oh, yeah. Also, yes, just think, if you had closed last week's show, old school show, 10 minutes when you intended to, we wouldn't have got the breaking news of Eberechi Eze joining Arsenal instead of Spurs. So it just shows you, we're one of the first people to actually break the news. Obviously, people in the chat did it, but in terms of it, you never know in football. Just shows you what you know, you don't know, and what you don't know, you're going to find out that you actually knew in the first place. But it's all in a roundabout way.
True, very true, mate. Very true. And yeah, I mean, it was quite funny, really, that happened as it did. But I want to start this off tonight, gentlemen. Right? A lot of chat, a lot of debate. Paul Merson came out with his statement. He was a Chelsea fan. Right? He was a Chelsea fan. Okay, fair enough. Who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. The fact of what I like is he gave great service to this great football club. And today he's come out and apologised because of the harassment, if you want to call it that, of what people are saying. Well, blah, blah, you're a Chelsea fan, this, that and the other. And Shane, does that really matter? I mean, I'm sure, right, Thierry Henry was not an Arsenal fan. He was probably, I don't know, Paris, PSG, Marseille.
Monaco. Yeah.
Monaco. It could be Monaco. That's where he was.
I think it was PSG. I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I really don't care. At the end of the day, why do people, Shane, get so upset about this? Who is it? Are these real Arsenal fans?
No.
Or are these little pundits that want to try and make a big name for themselves by calling out an ex-Arsenal great player?
Well, Jez, first off, we've already named the few people that were at the start of it, and we know that we don't consider them Arsenal fans. If you the thing is with Paul Merson, it broke my heart that he felt the need to come out and explain himself. You have nothing to explain, mate. You gave your heart and soul to this club. He held a record for a stage for games in a row and stuff like that in the top flight and things for Arsenal. He was the young player of the year. He won the league in 89. He won the league in 91. He won the double in the cups. Paul Merson is an Arsenal legend. He made me fall in love with the number 10. You know what I mean? He was everything to me when I was a kid. He was the magic man. He was the player that I could go out on the green and play with the older lads and pretend I was Paul Merson. You know what I mean? That was the player that I looked up to. As I grew, then Tony Adams and stuff came into when you start to appreciate defensive and stuff more. But the fact that he had to come out and apologise, and he didn't really apologise, and I'm glad, but just to explain himself, right? Because he's getting pelters off these people. He's only ever spoken facts about Arsenal, right? And even then, he's sometimes been a bit, top Goonerish at times. He'll just say, "Oh no, give him time," and all this sort of stuff. All he's done is say, along the lines of, "We have to get success now." So I just think it's tragic that he's having to come out because of the blowback he's getting on social media. They did it to Tony Adams. They did it to Thierry Henry. If Arsene Wenger came out and said something, they do the same to him. And the funny thing is, when these guys come out and say this stuff and everybody blows up, right, and starts going for them, it's always that side, man. I don't agree with what Ian Wright says about Arsenal. I don't agree with what Martin Keown says about Arsenal. I don't agree with what Ray Parder says about Arsenal. And I have more right to be angry at them because, to me, they're on an agenda. They're keeping access. They have a reason for what they're doing, where the Tony Adams of this world are just speaking their mind, right? That there's a big difference. Paul Merson, okay, he's on Sky and stuff like that, but he doesn't have the same agenda. It's clear to me that Keown wants to stay in Arsenal's good books, and that Ian Wright does, and that, but that never changes my view on them being Arsenal legends. They are Arsenal legends, true and true. And I'd never even crossed my mind to say something, to tweet something nasty about them and to tag them in it and hope that they see it, or send them a DM and say, "Oh, you're this and you're that." The fact that these guys are having to defend themselves against these mutants, man, these guys that I don't consider Arsenal fans, and even before the people that I've seen do this and jump on this bandwagon, I've never considered them Arsenal fans either. They might say the same about me. You've never believed, all of that sort of stuff. I ain't hearing it. I think it's an absolute disgrace that Paul Merson is having to come out and explain himself. He has nothing to explain. And you know what the funny thing is, Jez? Any real Arsenal fan would have known he was a Chelsea fan anyway. You know what I mean? It's only that it's news to these guys. That's why they're reacting, because it's news to them, because they know nothing about our past. They know nothing past the COVID year. They know nothing past Arteta. So that's why they were so reactionary, because of what? He's a Chelsea fan. We all knew that. We knew he grew up a Chelsea fan because we know our history. We knew Paul Merson was a Chelsea fan. And I'd have less respect for him if he said, "No, I'm an Arsenal fan now." You know what I mean? You can't, when you pick a team as a kid, that's when it sticks. So when you see all these Robbie Loyals who used to support Luton, and you see the Money Pennies who used to support United, and the Pinkuses who used to support QPR, that's when I just go, "Well, your opinion doesn't matter to me because you're not a fan. You pick your team, you stick with it." I've often said it. My older brother's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Made a mistake. You know what I mean? He has to live with that now. He has to, and he adores Sheffield Wednesday. That's the way it goes. So for these guys to question him, he gave everything for Arsenal. Even when he was going through his personal issues, he gave everything for Arsenal. It broke his heart to leave. You know what I mean? Did
he ever not turn up against Chelsea?
No, never.
Did he actually turn round when he's playing Chelsea, right, and not give 100%? No. I don't remember that ever happening.
No, he gave 100% every game.
DJB, I mean, you remember it. You've been at the games against Chelsea, Arsenal, when Merson was playing. I don't ever remember seeing that he's turned up and he gave a 50% performance. He still went in at 101%. So it's bullshit, isn't it? It's absolute bullshit.
It's sad, isn't it? It's sad how it's all come now in this modern day supporter that just lives in the moment and doesn't really think about the history of the football club. 423 appearances for Arsenal Football Club, 99 goals. 423 appearances for a football club where he's played every single game, sort of between 7 and 9 out of 10, every single performance. Paul Merson made things happen for this football club. He helped build the history of this football club, the successes we had with these sort of players. And for him to feel that he's got to come out and explain to himself about being a Chelsea fan, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the fact of the matter is all these players have boyhood teams that they support.
Of course.
Lee Dixon with Man City, Ray Parlour, West Ham. They've all got these boyhood clubs. But the point of the matter is when they sign for a football club and they step on the field of play, they've only got one thing in their mind, and that is playing football for that team that they've signed for. It makes no difference to what football team they support. Even now, players are playing now, and they've got an affiliation to other teams because their dad probably took them over, or their dad supports another team, or they've been brought up with their aunts and uncles and grandparents supporting a team. And this is just a fact of life. And the fact that he's had to come out and explain himself because he's getting pelters on a social media platform, it's just an absolute joke. As I said, this guy over 400 games for Arsenal Football Club, and I can't remember him having a really bad game in any of them, to be honest. He's one player that used to get me off the seat of my chair. Or if I was standing up, I'd be like, oh, yeah. Every time he got the ball, something happened. You know, and we haven't had that. He was just a magnificent player for Arsenal Football Club. And what you've got to realise is all these players throughout the years, the players during the 50s and 60s before my time in the 70s, the players in the 70s, 80s before people's times in the 90s, helped build the foundation of this football club. And that's why you support a football team. You support a football team. I always say there's 3 factors why you support a football team: where you live, your family history, yeah, and what you see and what you see. You know, my family history, where I lived, made me support Arsenal Football Club, and it was the first professional game I ever went to see when I was a young lad, and that was it. So it's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Paul Merson never ever, when he played against Chelsea, he never let that interfere with his team football. Never. I think it's crazy, and and unfortunately, as Shane says, again, it's this kind of screen that's put in front of this current manager, Arteta. So any little criticism that's going his way, either by ex-professionals, fans, media, any little criticism that's going to chink away at Arteta's armour, they're going to come steaming in. They're going to go over the top, and they're going to come steaming in, and they're going to turn around and go, oh, they're this, they're that. And they'll try and create something to make it, you know what I mean? Horrible, basically.
It is a joke
for him. I watched that. I watched his thing that he done on X, and I watched it, and I was, you could see by his whole body language and persona that he's been getting pelters, and he wasn't happy. I mean, he was upset by it all. It's upsetting.
Don't fucking blame him.
Do you know what I mean? It's a fucking joke. Well, I mean, we've had it with Tony Adams. Tony Adams has got pelters.
A couple of weeks back. Yeah.
Now Paul Merson has got pelters. Who's next? Who's next in the firing line?
Oh, probably we've had Vieira, we've had Henry.
Bergkamp will be next, won't he?
Yeah, Bergkamp. Yeah, be the next one, man. We're going to move it on that one. But Paul Nash, I don't know if that's questions to me. Jez, N5, born and bred. Yes, mate. Gillespie Road.
Yeah.
Right opposite the North Bank, mate. My nan's front room. Both my sister and I were both born in that room. Funny enough, that's how it was back in them days. You had the old midwife come round and scream the house down. But Kenny, look, man, you know, Paul Merson, icon of the club, right? Comes out of it's an off-the-wall statement. He supported Chelsea, and all this furore about it. It's jokes, Kenny, isn't it? Come on, man. What we doing here?
Well, I actually contacted one of the perpetrators, and I sent him Paul Merson's video, to let him know what I thought of him. And I actually get on with the guy really well, but I let him know what I thought of him. And I pointed out very much that the player that there's a bandwagon to get some sort of recognition didn't grow up as an Arsenal fan. He grew up in New Cross, and he he was a West Ham fan. There's pictures of him in a West Ham shirt. Obviously, he was taken to Millwall, had no affiliation with Crystal Palace, the place that made him. But all intents and purposes, he's a West Ham fan. And he used to go and see both West Ham and Millwall. But that gets lost in translation. Our greatest ever captain and one of the first players to get a statue was a West Ham fan. His cousin is Steve McKenzie, who played for Man City and scored that great goal in the 1981 Cup final replay. You know, comes from a West Ham family. That's a fact. Jack Wilshere, West Ham. Ray Parler's DJB says West Ham. Lee Dixon, Man United, Man City. Rob Holding, Man United. All these people, they don't grow up supporting a football club. But what happens, what we do is that we don't really care. I think what we have with modern fans is that we seem to get all sort of like we lose the air in our veins. We start fainting at the fact that he's an Arsenal fan. Oh, he supports Arsenal. Oh, this guy plays Arsenal. Oh, look at that guy when he's a kid in an Arsenal shirt. It's not a nonsense. Who cares? For instance, Darren Bent's an Arsenal fan. But would you rather hear him talk about Arsenal or Paul Merson? Really? Would you?
Exactly.
Do you want to hear who else is an Arsenal fan? All right, Anthony Robinson plays for Fulham. Do you actually want to hear him, or do you want to hear Paul Merson or Tony Adams? You want to hear someone who was in the trenches, played the big games that enabled us to win, the title, when it was winning Europe, when it was winning cup finals, and they know and been there. That's sort of like title runnings. That's what you want from these people. But it seems like these people don't want it, and I think it's shamefully our younger fans should be ashamed of themselves because they should know their history and don't get sort of like frog marched and influenced by these new kind of content creators who, as I said before, these content creators, a lot of them are from the same part of London, but they support northern teams and they fit their authority on football. They're poison, but the old school fans, they should be ashamed of themselves. They shouldn't be having it like Tony Adams, or Paul Merson, when all they're doing is making constructive criticism. The fact is that they've been there and they know what to do. And if they don't see Arsenal doing those sort of things and winning those big games, they're entitled to comment. They're not for sale. They're not employed by Arsenal no more. Paul Merson's audience is Sky Sports viewers. That's his audience. Tony Adams' audience at that time was the Irish viewers because he was interviewed by the Irish Independent. You don't work for Arsenal. Mike Keoghan needs to remember his audience at TalkSport and the BBC are BBC viewers, not Arsenal fans. Ian Wright needs to remember that as well. That as much as he tries the club and he does all sorts of things, when he's on ITV viewers are his audience and they may not support Arsenal. It goes throughout the whole thing, and you need to be more kind of professional. And this is what Paul Merson was doing, professional. But you're always going to get this thing now where newer fans from all corners of the world are going to jump on the bandwagons. They are going to want to be seen as true fans. They are going to, if the word fits, they'll say it. For instance, there are people from Asia who are using revolting words. One revolting word I won't mention, but it's really disgusting word. When I asked him what it meant, he didn't know what it meant. When I told him what it meant, he was horrified. He's the same person who was telling people like myself to go and support Tottenham. And then when I went and spoke to him about the history of the club, he went, okay, I understand. I respect you. You just made me angry. And I think that's where we are with the legends of our football club. You only respect the legends if they say what you want to hear. They want you to praise Arsenal morning, night and day. Good, the bad, ugly, win, draw, lose, let's hit the booze. Arsenal have to be the best. As I said before in Dad's show, we go on like our sisters have to be the most prettiest. Our wives have to be the most prettiest because they belong to us, and that's how we are with Arsenal. We're all this. We can't say anything about Arsenal unless it's praise.
Yeah, I mean,
Kenny. Oh, sorry.
This is the thing, though, right? All this bullshit we hear, time in, time out. It's all the same, right? Shane and DJB said backstage, Ian Wright having the golden trophy and all this and all that. Okay, you know, personally, I ain't got a lot of time for Ian Wright. He was a good servant. I don't like how he's changed himself. People calling out he should have a statue. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But before I finish that, I'll just thank you to Lawrence for his super chat. Can't believe that Arsenal fans slagging Grockers off because he didn't. I'm going to come to this, mate, because he didn't allow Max Dowman to take the penalty on Saturday. What the fuck are the clown smoking? Now, get back to my point here, right? Everybody's gassing it up that Ian Wright should have a statue. Ian Wright, okay, great player for the servant of the club. Where the fuck is Jules Graham's? Shane, where is Jules Graham's? Right, now let me just finish and I'll let you in. Right, joined Arsenal from Chelsea as a striker. Wasn't no good as a striker. Right, Bertie Mee put him into midfield and was a great player. Changed him around. Okay, went on to win Arsenal's first European trophy. But I know a lot of Arsenal fans modern day discount that. No, it wasn't a real European trophy. Well, I think it was because you had to be invited to partake in it, right? Yeah. And Jules Graham was part of the double winning team and then went on to become manager of Arsenal and won in his 9 years all those trophies. But people discount that and he's hated because he went and managed Spurs. Shane, give me your opinion, man.
Yeah, we've discussed this many times, you know, that the George Graham not having a statue is an absolute disgrace. I mean, before anybody else, he has to be next. It just has to be before any ex-players, before any, you know, and I'm talking even about, God rest his soul, the Rocky Rocastles and stuff like that. Just George Graham, and then we'd start looking at the Rocastles. But the thing that gets to me most, right, and this is what winds me up about the Ian Wright statue, is that one of the guys that's pushing it heavily is that Moneypenny guy, right? The same guy who couldn't answer the questions about the sponsors, the same guy who didn't know Tony Adams scored in 98 against Everton. I was 2. He's pushing for an Ian Wright statue, who left the club that year, by the way, that summer. Yeah. So he mustn't know what Ian Wright did for the club. These guys are pushing for an Ian Wright statue because of the way he backs the manager. And that's their words. It's the way he backs the club no matter what. Subtext is the way he backs this manager. This just shows how spineless they are and how little they know about our history. That half of them probably don't even know he played for us. They probably just see him as the pundit who keeps putting up for Arteta. And they go, yeah, get him a statue. Get him a statue. I'd say if you asked them to name 3 of his goals, they wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't be able to do, oh, well, I wasn't around then. Why do you want a statue for him? Oh, because of the way he represents the club now. David O'Leary, there you go. Look, before we, and Ian Wright, I adore Ian Wright, by the way. And no matter what he says, I'll never change my opinion on him being a lovely lad, on him being a, you know, he adores Arsenal and all that sort of stuff. I don't like that he's doing it for an agenda, you know, but like, obviously I'd never even consider sending him abuse or tagging him online and saying this and that about him or making a video about him being this and that. I've explained that I don't like one thing he does, but it will never, it's a grain of sand the way he carries on now compared to a whole beach of how much I love the chap and how much I respect him. You know what I mean? It's literally a dot on a copybook. That's all it is. I adore Ian Wright. But my issue is why they want the statue. That's what's really getting to me. It's all the wrong reasons. It's not what he did on the pitch. It's not the goals he scored. It's not breaking Cliff Baston's record. It's not you know, winning the double in the cups. It's not being part of the double team in 98. It's none of that. None of that comes into their mind. It's the way he protects this manager. That is the reason that they want a statue for him. To me, that is absolutely horrendous. Because if you asked half of them again about George Graham, they wouldn't have a clue. They wouldn't have a clue about George Graham, right? And Kenny touched on something there about the way the young people go for the legends and they attack them and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, if the internet was around, I wouldn't have done that. And I doubt anyone on this panel would have. When we were young, we would have had respect for the legends. So yes, it's some of the young people. It's some old people going for them as well, by the way. It's some people that shouldn't know a hell of a lot better that are going for them, that are attacking them and air quoting when they say legends and stuff like that. People that saw these guys play. So yes, it's a young thing, and they have a touch of a button. They can get in contact with someone and abuse them. But it's also just it's a very recent thing to show no respect for these guys. But to finish on it, a statue for Ian Wright. I mean, if we go down that road, there's a slew of people ahead of him, and it'll end up outside the Emirates. So it'll start looking like Madame Tussauds or something. There'll be statues everywhere. You know what I mean? So you have to pick and choose. And George Graham has to be next on the list. He has to be before you even consider Ian Wright. And again, and I will finish on this, and I know I'm repeating myself, but my massive, and it makes me sick, the reason that they want a statue. It's nothing to do with what he did on the pitch. It's because he protects this manager. And that's how far we have gone to protecting this manager now, that they're making saints out of someone because he's like them and he doesn't say a bad word about this guy. And that it's just craziness to me. Absolutely craziness.
DJ, I mean, we've talked about this in the past, right?
Mm.
Yeah. George Graham, icon of the club, in my opinion. Absolute proper legend. I mean, the thing is nowadays, the word legend is used so easily, right? People call me a legend. I'm no legend, man. I've done fuck all, right? I'm not. I'm old, so maybe that's why I'm called a legend. But the fact remains is, Ian Wright, great serviceman for the club, did a great job, did what he did. But I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. There are players I can put out there before him. David O'Leary, Liam Brady.
Well, listen.
I mean, we could go down the road of talking about goalkeepers. David Seaman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't fucking get this.
I'll tell you what it is, Jez, right? I was a big Ian Wright fan. Loved Ian Wright. 185 goals, 280 odd appearances. Massive. Some of the goals he scored blew me away. However, Ian Wright epitomises the modern day Arsenal fan. If you saw that dribble that he done with Eze, that video, what he done with Eze, tells you all you need to know about Arsenal Football Club and why other fans detest us. Yeah? And Ian Wright taps into that mould of the modern day Arsenal football fan. Yeah. He says all the right things. He dresses the right way. His persona comes across the right way. He's tapped into a niche market of the modern day Arsenal fan. He epitomises what Arsenal Football Club is. The way he acts, the way he does his interviews, the way he talks about Arteta, the way he's all pally with the players. He's in with the in gang, the young players. He's in with the youngsters.
Yeah.
He's very hip, and this is what Ian Wright's become. And it's as if he's lost all of his kind of how can I say? He's lost all his kind of history of what the club is built on and everything else, because that's the market he's tapped into. And that's why they want a statue of him, because he represents them. Yep. He doesn't. It's not a statue of what he's done at the football club. It's not a statue of the 180-odd 5 goals. It's not a statue of breaking Cliff Baston's records and winning doubles and everything else. Nothing to do with that. It's purely a statue because it's something that the modern day young fan can look up to outside that Emirates. When they look at Cliff Baston, they've got nothing in common. When they look at Wenger, half of these fans have got nothing in common with him. Mm-hmm. If you had a statue of George Graham, most of these young fans walking around that stadium wouldn't even have a photo done with it, because they can't tap into it. George Graham is not hip enough He's not the modern day kind of figure that they want to associate.
Can I just jump in there? Can I just jump in there, mate? Right. The last time I was at the Emirates, right, which was probably 2018, I went for a game. I forget who it is. I forget who it is now. There was loads of people, right, standing around Bergkamp, Henry statue. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody standing around Herbert Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
No, because they don't know about the history. They just live in, as I said, we just live for today. And this is what I'm saying about Ian Wright. That is why it would be wrong of the club to build an Ian Wright statue outside the football stadium, because it would be for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
It wouldn't be. It would be for PR and not for history and what he's done. It would literally be for PR purposes and what Arsenal's all about at the moment. If you look at Arteta, his persona and everything else, and you look at Ian Wright and you look at all the things that Parler says and all the things that Keown says, it's just the way the club is at the moment. And this is why anything that's negative, or you criticise the football club, or you bring up something that's seriously wrong with the football club, i.e. wages, that's why we can't get rid of players, it's completely squashed. And it's wrong. George Graham should be the next statue.
Yep.
Full stop, outside that stadium. And if you're not going to build any more statues, then don't build any more statues, because I would rather not see any other statue. And I'm talking about Vieira. I'm talking about fantastic David O'Leary. They all deserve one. But until George Graham gets a statue outside that stadium, I don't want to see one single statue.
Fact.
The only statue I want to see is George Graham. This was a player that played for the football club. He won trophies. He took us to that famous victory in '89, and it will never be repeated ever. And at the end of the day, I'd rather see no statues unless it's George Graham's. But for me, Ian Wright, I'm sorry. As I said, as an Arsenal football player, I looked up to him. He brought me some fantastic moments. But unfortunately, he's lost a lot of respect from me, because he's tapping into a niche market and he's forgetting about where he's actually come from. And it's and for me, anyone forgets their kind of playing roots and where they've come from, just to benefit a handful of football fans, loses a little bit of respect from me, I'm afraid.
I think they lose all credit, man. I think they lose all credit. I just going to come to Kenny. I just do Lawrence, mate. Thank you again for your super chat, my friend. My only criticism about this window is that this type of business should have been done 5 years ago, after we beat Chelsea in the cup final. Yeah, mate. You know, it's Arsenal, man. We always like to be late to the party. Kenny Ken, I know. You know, you're pretty similar to me about George Graham. I think it's a joke, man, that we're talking about Ian Wright having a statue, not a golden one, before George Graham. What the fuck is going on, Kenny?
Well, first, I can only tap into what DJ B said when he said he came up with so many buzzwords in terms of, like, you know, regarding how Ian Wright portrays himself. And I could only second that. Ian Wright is very much the man for all seasons, especially where you talked about him wanting to be with Hip. You know, he's ingratiating himself into winning his game, because it's a niche for him where basically he likes to be around people who worship him. Sorry to say it, but that's a fact. You have to. He loves adulation. In fact, he craves it. The minute someone says something negative about him, there's a problem. As much as any of Luca's a pork shop, the fact is that she probably overstepped the mark and probably used his name in vain in order so she wouldn't be called a race baiter. So she thought, oh, well, Ian won't mind, I'll just use him, so because I could use someone else. But if it's a non-black, I'll be accused of a race baiter. So he used his name. Ian Wright maybe could have been a bigger man and said no. I could see what's happening, accept apology, but he didn't. because he could see the tide of public opinion was on his side, and everyone going, "Yeah, Ian, look what you've done for the women's game. Look what you've done, you great man." And there we have it. He said no, because he knew that's what the public wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He's an Arteta fan because he knows the majority of our people who Arsenal fans are Arteta. He'll come out and he's cheerleading. He's very genuine when it comes to his love of Arsenal. And he's very genuine when he comes to his love of the national side, which I said in your podcast a few weeks ago. So, and I respect that. One thing I want to say, right, is that first and foremost, the people pushing for it is a Man United fan.
Oh.
Yeah.
You need to be talking about your own club. It's nothing to do with you. Your reason for Ian Wright getting a statue is because of he appeared in a video, and he's like, it's what he does for the club in terms of pushing the merchandise, pushing the club, blah blah. So you give him a statue for that. He doesn't do it for nothing. He gets paid, all right, and he does have a retainer of a football club. So he's doing it because he loves the club, but it's a job he loves, and he's a professional, so he wouldn't do it for nothing, give his time for nothing. But there's something more permanent as well. You know, you've got someone who should know better. I've got a lot of respect for her, and she talks as much as anyone, more than Amanda Stark does about 1989, about being there. Yet she's silent when it comes to George Graham getting a trophy. I think that's quite extraordinary. Old school fans being silent about George Graham getting a trophy. But my Ian Wright journey, I'm going to say this, because I'm allowed to say this, because DJB, Shane, and yourself probably this won't say it because you feel you're uncomfortable saying it. I will say it. I'm from Islington. I was born in 1972. I didn't need Ian Wright to support Arsenal. All right?
No.
I supported Arsenal because they're my local club, and my mum made me support Arsenal because I loved the club. Running Andover Estate and across Crouch Hill, I grew up was Arsenal. You couldn't help being an Arsenal fan. It was drummed into me, but I fell in love with the club in 1980. Now, if people think I should support Ian Wright for a certain reason, well, I could tell you one thing. Before Ian Wright, I had Brendan Batson drummed into me. And before Ian Wright, I had two local Islingtonians who played for the club, and they were the people who inspired me as well. Chris Huggy White.
Chris Huggy White, I was going to say, yeah.
Chris Huggy White went to Highbury Grove, local lad, and he played for Arsenal as a defender. That's who I look up to. And if you want me to go even further, a guy who's best friends, my late neighbour, David Head, Raphael Mead from Hornsey Rise. He went to Taunton Park.
Yeah.
He inspired me to support Arsenal, and he was there before Ian Wright. And then on Easter Sunday, 1980, an 18-year-old from South London called Paul Davis made his debut for Arsenal. He was there before Ian Wright. So I didn't need Ian Wright to support Arsenal. I had them. And then, God bless his soul, in 1985, John Donnell gave David Rocastle his debut. He was there before Ian Wright. So before you tell me that Ian Wright inspired me to support Arsenal, I say to you, go forth and multiply, because I was there a long time before that man got to the club. I fell in love with the club 11 years before he got there, and I had my own icons that I didn't need them, but I had them before Ian Wright. So when you write books about all these guys, when you write books about Black Arsenal, and you don't include those guys, but you include Ian Wright, that does me a disservice. So I don't need him. And let me tell you something now. Why does he have to always be in every promotional video that we sign? Is he Di Stefano? No. Whenever a player signed for Real Madrid, Di Stefano's there.
Every time,
He's no Di Stefano. Yes, he loves the club. And I respect that. But when people try to push him and say he should get a statue before George Graham, and let's not forget, if it wasn't for George Graham, Ian Wright would not be there. If it was for George Graham, David Rocastle wouldn't be the star he is today. So I'm not asking you to put respect in George Graham's name, because I'm falling in deaf ears, because I've been calling for a George Graham trophy for years. Nothing's happened. Years. The old school fan silent. But because it's popular now, you see all the old school fans are going to jump on that bandwagon for Ian Wright. And they're going to say, oh, Ian Wright's a great guy. You don't even know Ian Wright. And when I say you don't know you're right, you don't. And I leave it at that.
100%, Kenny. Well said, man.
I've just been schooled by Fortnite Sweat. Just the whole point of streaming is reading out comments, even they had nothing to do with the show. It's just nice. Fella, have you got a fucking YouTube channel? Because don't come in here and tell me how to do a YouTube channel, right? I've been doing it for 4 years. And I know when I'll read out comments and when I won't, right? So when you do your YouTube channel, come and educate me. Because when you've got like 120 people watching and you've got people streaming in comments, right? And I've got a panel of great panelists who I need to talk to, yeah, then it's very difficult to actually do everything at once. All right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't like it, you know what you can do. Okay? Go and do your own YouTube channel. Tell me where you're doing it, and I'll come and criticize you. Because at the end of the day, this is not the BBC. Okay, I do the best I can do, as Shane does, DJB does on their channels. It ain't easy, okay? So I say one thing: if you don't like it, just go away. All right? I ain't got time for idiots like you. I have got some starred comments, which we'll get into, and we're going to go into. I'll just do these ones here. As Darren says, there, I'm reading the comment out. Poor old Georgie Graham was treated appallingly. Absolutely, I totally agree. He did the wrong thing. He did the wrong thing, but hey, I think there's a lot of managers who've done the same. Let's not get it wrong. I think you'll find Terry Venables,
Ferguson,
Terry Venables with Alan Sugar. They were no instance, man. Devon says, "Big up, Jez, Kenny, Ken, Shane, DJB. I really love this show because I learned so much about Arsenal every time." Sending love from Cape Town in South Africa.
Big on Devon.
big up, Dev.
Big up, Devon.
Big up to you. Big up to you, my friend. Dale Summers, Ian Wright, yes, was a great player, but he now is a yes man. That's why he does PR for the club, because won't say bad word against the club. Absolutely. Big up, excuse me. Kawaji, Jez, Kenny, Ken, Shane, DJB. Love the passion you have for Arsenal. Big up the Arsenal. Anyway, we're going to move on because we have a starred comment here. There we go. Here we are. Kawaji, Jez, Piero, Hancapi agreed personal terms of Arsenal. Now, let's move it over. Let's just add to the stage. This fella here from Ecuador. Have we ever signed an Ecuador player before?
I don't think so. Offhand.
I can remember.
There's a good quiz question. I don't know. Value £50 million from
Leverkusen.
Left back, centre back, young player. Do we need him? Guys?
With Kivior going, Kivior's agreed terms with Porto. That price is wrong. I think his buyout clause is about 60 million euros. I think they're trying to haggle it down. I'd say we'll get him for about 40-ish. Apparently the Kivior thing, we're going to get about 20 million with a few add-ons in euros now I'm talking. But I watch a good bit of German football and he is decent. People talk about him in the Invincible season from 23-24, but he was in and out of the team that season. And they play 3 at the back as well, which is another thing we have to look out for. He will be a left back under this manager. I'm nearly certain he'll be a left back. He plays left back sometimes. Sometimes he even plays left wing back, so he can do it. And he's not the biggest. I think he's only about 6 foot. So he's not a big monstrous centre back, but he's very good on the ball, quick. And you know, it is the one thing that I will give Arteta credit-ish for. He sometimes gets defenders right, but then when you look at it, I mean, Saliba was already there. Gabriel was in motion from the Emery era. Gabriel and Partey had already been identified and seen as targets. He did sign Timber. Ben White, he got wrong. So, you know, Kivior, did he get him wrong? He was never really great. But, you know, he is decent. But this is the problem for me, is that the so-called backups we're signing, we always say they're decent or they can do a job. And I don't want decent or can do a job. I want someone who's going to challenge the players we have. You know, I want a Mark Gahey or someone like that to come in and say, right, Saliba, if you switch off for a couple of games, he's breathing down your neck, because we have a lot of players that are getting very, very comfortable in their positions. A lot of players that are getting very comfortable in their positions. But no, he is a good defender. Like I said, I watch a lot of German football, I watch a good bit of Italian football, and he wasn't a massive part. He played about, off the top of my head, I'd say half the games of that Invincible season. Came into his own last season, but Leverkusen weren't spectacular. But I had someone from Ecuador in my chat either today or yesterday. I think they were from Ecuador. They were South American, and they were speaking highly of him. But look, it's one of those things. We get him in. The English game could catch him out. You don't know, but he is an upgrade on Kivior. I will say that, not by a massive amount yet, but he's like 23, so he still has time to mature. Defenders can mature, but yeah. All in all, I take him over Kivior. So it is a slight upgrade on Kivior. But again, Kivior's used to the league. So will it be if we need him in a time of crisis? I don't know. But he will be played at left back. I can promise you that. He's only played about 20% of his games at left back, but he's been brought in to play left back.
Fair play. Okay. I mean, I know nothing about the guy at all. DJB, what do you know about this? Do you rate coming in?
Yeah, I mean, he's played a few games for Leverkusen. I think he's not turned 24 yet, so he's still young for a defender. There's one word, the reason why we're signing this defender, and that's because he's versatile. And one thing Mikel likes is a versatile defender. The only problem is with the word versatile with Mikel Arteta is that he can't make his mind up whether he's a left back or a centre half. That's the problem. And it's another signing where Mikel is not going to know whether he's a left back or a centre half. We bought Mosquera in, and when we signed Mosquera, it was like, oh yeah, because he can play left back, he can play right back, he can play centre half. Well, when he's come in, all he's done is play left back. This guy has had countless opportunities over the years to sort out the left back. He got rid of a natural left back, as in Kieran Tierney. So all this money that we've spent, we could have saved. Full stop. We could have saved. Kieran Tierney could have been our left back, and then we could have had backups for Kieran Tierney, and we could have saved money. The fact of the matter is, he's still buying players that are not out and out left backs. This guy coming in, he's not an out and out left back. He's versatile. Well, versatile to me means we'll throw him wherever we need him. So if Saliba gets injured, we'll put him now. If Gabriel gets injured, we'll put him now. If the right back gets injured, we'll put him now. The fact is, he's a jack of all trades, master of none. And this is what we've been having to cope with over the years in this left back position. We've never really solved it under this manager. And we still haven't solved it now. Skelly's not a left back. Calafiori's not a left back. Sinchenko's not a left back. So I know what, let's get rid of the only natural left back we've got, and we'll sign another centre half and we'll put him at left back. And then it just goes on and on and on. Look, I've got nothing against this player. I don't really know the player. I've heard he's decent. I've heard he's good. But is he going to break into the first team? Is he going to take up that left back position? And if he does, where does it leave Skelly? Is he going to be brave enough to put Skelly in midfield? No, because you got Rice there, Zubimendi there. You got Eze now came into the frame. Perhaps he's looking at playing Skelly left-sided midfield and putting this guy at left back. I just don't know with this manager anymore, because at the end of the day, you know, it's another defender that we're buying, and it's not really solving any kind of major problems apart from they're just backups. They're just people that's just going to come in and do a job. And we haven't got that luxury at the moment. We need players that are going to come in, hit the ground running, and take us to the next level. And as I said, does it really solve the left back position? I would say no. But I'll go back to what I said earlier. He's versatile. And that's why Mikel's bought him, because he can play all positions across the back, but he's not a master of any of them. And this is what worries me. He ain't going to take Saliba's place. He ain't going to take Gabriel's place. Yeah, we're letting Kivior go, but we've got Mosquera there. We've got Ben White. We've got Timber. You know, We got Skelly, who's a left back that everyone says, oh, he's a fullback. The media tells you he's a fullback. Then you got Calafiori as well. People say to me, oh, yeah, but if Saliba gets injured or Gabriel gets injured, we've got Calafiori. Well, we haven't because he's been playing him at left back. So for me, it's just another signing I'm not really 100% understanding, Jez, to be honest.
No,
and as I said, I can't judge the player because I don't really know about the player. So I'm not knocking the player. I'm just knocking it. For me, I don't understand what's going on. All I know for a fact is we need an out-and-out left back. We need someone that can play left back.
We had one.
And we had one. Exactly. And we let him go.
There, man.
And we let him go. We had a left back and we let him go. And now we're signing players that can do a job at left back, or he's versatile. I just don't understand it. And but here you are. I mean, before we signed a defender, we've still got no backup striker for Gyökeres, and we've still not got a left winger. Because if anyone tells me any more that Eze's a left winger, I'm going to absolutely go bonkers. If anyone comes up to me in the Emirates and go, "Oh, Eze's a left winger," I think I'll have mid-season ticket taken away from me.
That's where he's going to play, though, DJ.
Eze is not a left winger, right?
But it is where he'll play him. It is where.
So we're still without an out left winger, and we're still without a backup striker, and yet we're signing defenders that are versatile. It's just. It just don't make a lot of sense to me. It's a little bit like the Nottingham. It's a bit like a Madueke signing for me. I'm a little bit on the fence with it, Jez.
Yeah, I get you. I get you on it. I mean, I'm not. Look, I don't know enough about this guy to talk about this defender. Kenny Kent. Let's move it on to something else. Right. We've got up big game Sunday. Anfield, we know what it. I mean, last night, 2-0.
Never win there. So we kind of know what the result's going to be.
Well, Newcastle were unlucky. They cocked it up. Let's be honest with you. But they had 3 players out, right? But the fact is, we're away at Anfield. Question to you, Kenny Ken: Do you think Arteta will start Eze?
Yes, he has to, because if you're going to win at Anfield, you need fit players. You can't have passengers there. I won't even have Odegaard and Saka on the bench. Well, Saka won't be on the bench. I won't even have Odegaard on the bench. You know, you've made north of nearly 200 million pounds. You know, we think that if it goes the way we think it's going to go up to about 300 million pounds. You've bought a squad. You know, DJB was chastised for using the word rebuild. Well, £300 million. If £300 million spent or nearly spent isn't a rebuild, I don't know what a rebuild is. But the fact is that I think Arsenal fans need to be cautious, need to respect our record. It's no good people, including certain fans, getting all sort of excited because we kept clean sheets. Liverpool looked shaky at the back. That's fine. But the fact is, it's Anfield factor. They know that we're more than good enough to score at Anfield, but they know with that crowd and with the creativity and the fact that they keep on going, they'll score as well. There's no way we'll keep a clean sheet at Anfield, in my opinion, because of the fact that we haven't done it for a long time. We've got a good chance of winning, but so have they. They're the champions. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
You look at the context of the game. Newcastle only had themselves to blame. They didn't just lose because they gave away 3 silly goals. They didn't just lose because Gordon got sent off. They lost because they went in there pumped up. They were over pumped up. They were too emotional. The fans got them in a frenzy. They created this rivalry that's not there. You know, they should have just been happy with the fact they smashed his side in the League Cup final. If they played like that, how they played in that final, who knows what would have happened? But they went in there pumped. The referee could have booked 3 or 4 at least 2 Newcastle players, or sent 2 Newcastle players off before he sent off Gordon. He gave him a chance. He gave him warnings. Gordon didn't listen. Then they went 2-0 up, and then Liverpool was retreated, started making mistakes. You know, they were happy with that 2-0. I don't think they missed McAllister, and then when Newcastle got it to 2-2 in the 87th minute, a lot of the Newcastle fans, the referee gave Liverpool 11 minutes. No, that 11 minutes should have benefited you guys because you're in the ascendancy. Liverpool creaking. Liverpool were basically on their goal line. Had you put in probably more accurate crosses, better passes, you could have seen that game off. No one on that pitch would complain. Newcastle saw it off, but they didn't. They went to sleep. Liverpool nicked it. But guess what? That's what champions do. Because guess what? We did that in 89 and 90 when we were 91. We won titles. We did it a lot during the Wenger years. That's what it is. Yes, the ability to play well and not win. That's what champions always do. And that's one of the reasons why Arsenal fans can be optimistic. They can say that Konate's not playing well and that he's a weak link and that they're not weak. But we still have to play well at Anfield. We still have to beat them. Let's not forget, all we did on Saturdays, we laid down a marker, which we should have done by smashing Leeds. But Leeds are champ. We know deep down in our hearts, Leeds are relegation fodder. They are championship class. Not at best, they're just championship class. And we did what we had to. Forget what happened at Leeds. Forget about Man United. The fact that we nearly committed suicide there, but Man United just weren't good enough. And their manager is just a sort of saboteur of everything good that they do. This Liverpool side is going to get McAllister back. It's going to get Gravenberch in that midfield. Get Slobosai. And he may go for Conor Bradley. But he may go. The only reason why he plays Slobosai is because of the pace. He anticipated the pace of Newcastle. He thought Alanga was going to play on the left-hand side. That's where he plays Slobosai. He may Slobosai because he may think that Martinelli is going to play down there. So it'd be pace for pace because Slobosai's got a lot of pace. That's the only reason why Slobosai played there. But if they played a full midfield, Salah wasn't his best, but he's at Anfield. He's always his best at Anfield. We just don't know. We've got to go there in our heads and just go there with a professional attitude and expect to be under the cosh, but be able to deal with it. But if you ask me now, what would be the best result for Arsenal? Avoiding defeat.
Yeah. I don't think Eze will start, though. I don't think he'll start him. I just can't see him in a game like that. And I think Odegaard's fine, by the way. I think he'll start. But I even think even if Odegaard wasn't 100% and he benched him, I think he'd play Marino. I just think because it's Liverpool away, he'll want Martinelli out the left to track back. Yeah. He'll want Madueke out the right to track back. He'll want the three guys in midfield, the Odegaard, because they know the system. And Eze doesn't know his defensive system. He'd probably see that he's a bit of a, he might try something silly and give the ball away, or he might try and beat a player. Just because of the manager, because of how I know him, I just don't see him starting Eze. I think Eze might get a start against Forest out the left, all right, in the game. But at Anfield, I know this manager, how cautious he is, and he has them all drilled and how to defend and get into that 4-4-2 and do the two lines of four. I don't see him risking Eze for it.
I think you're going to see a very similar. I think you're going to see a very similar tactic to what we see at the City at Man City when we played Man City away. That's the sort of approach this manager's going to have. He won't go. He ain't going to go all out attacking. He'll have a similar approach of what he did against Man City. When the way we were set up before, like Trossard got the red card when he booted the ball away. And then obviously we was forced to defend anyway. But I think he's going to go to very similar tactics of how he set up there against Man City. I'm with Kenny. I think Eze should start. I don't think Odegaard is fully fit, and B, Odegaard's fallen off of a cliff. I don't think you can have a 5 out of 10 performance against Liverpool. I think Eze would be more leaf ball as a 10 than Odegaard. But there are reasons thinking about it when you said it last night as well on Aaron's stream as well, Shane. The more I think about it, Marino coming in, the more I believe that could be a way he might go for that game on Sunday, because he's going to play very, very, very cautious. And for him walking away from there with a point after taking 6 points in the first two games would be a little mini victory for him. Because the pressure, I've said this before, all eyes will be looking at him Sunday. I don't think it's about the players. I think it's all eyes are going to be on him Sunday. This is his first big test of the football season.
Yeah.
They all know he's under pressure. They all know he's spent, amazing amounts of money. He's built his squad now. So this is the first real big test for Mikel to go and get some sort of result. And I think he'll go into that by hook or by crook, not wanting to lose. His first thought won't be, how can I win this game? It'll be, how do I not lose it?
Yep.
And I think that might be his downfall if he goes too defensive. Because we do have problems on that left-sided. That could be a bit of a problem. So we'll have to wait and see. I would play Eze. It makes sense to play Martinelli because he will track back, and I think you're going to need that on Salah, to be honest. So, so we'll have to wait and see.
Do you reckon that Slot will switch Van Dijk and Konate around, so Van Dijk's on the right to cover the Gyökeres runs? I can see him switching them. He always plays Van Dijk on the left of the centre-back, so I wouldn't be surprised if he switched it to the right, because Konate's been a bit shaky, and Gyökeres likes to cut in from the left. I can see him switching them.
But the problem is, I think Gyökeres is going to be a bit isolated. I think you'll see similar Gyökeres as what you saw at Old Trafford. That's my worry. I think if he doesn't set out to take the game to Liverpool, Gyökeres is going to become very isolated, and someone like Van Dijk, with all his experience, will just put him in his pocket. Mm-hmm. I mean, Gyökeres really up against De Ligt at Old Trafford.
He was relatively isolated against Leeds, DJB, to be fair to him.
He was relatively isolated against Leeds as well. So we haven't found a way really to get him on the ball enough. That goal that he scored, he made himself. But up until then, I don't know what Kenny thinks, but where I was watching it from, he hardly touched the ball. He was very isolated.
No, I think with Gyökeres as well is that we kind of bought Gyökeres, for a guarantee and a hope. The guarantee is that when you play teams like Leeds, and I say it respectfully, teams that are probably not good enough to be in this league, and you really, really want to bump up your goal difference, you saw in the Superliga, in Premier League, in Portugal, that he smashes those teams to smithereens. Yeah. It's excellent. So that's a guarantee we've got him for. Goal difference probably is going to play a lot, because Liverpool, they're trying to get Isak. They've got Ekitike. He's scoring goals. Vert has some very remarkably quiet games, but you never know what he's going to do. Salah, we know Salah's he's an Anfield player, and he occasionally turns up away, so he's going to score goals. But what we praying for is that these sort of tight games, that's another thing we bought him for. So we got the guarantee and the hope. But I do think that if he does play at Anfield, believe it or not, and it's probably perverse, Konate probably would relish the physical battle, because Gyökeres was given a physical battle. We have to see that he loves all that. Look what he did to Martinelli. Killed Martinelli's confidence. If any player has killed Martinelli and made him probably, how to say it, a spent fool. So it was Konate who took the bricks out of the basically flat. Probably brick by brick, he destroyed his confidence. He's the first person to do it because he matched him pace for pace. But look what Konate did to Granit Xhaka 2 years ago at Anfield. It was Konate scoring at a Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka thinking, ooh, and then Liverpool got control of that game. So you never know. He may relish going against Gyökeres in the physical battle. It was against when he was playing in terms of like a lone forward, and everything was not going on his side, but the counter attack's going on his side. That's where he wasn't playing his best football, where the players weren't getting tight on him. But when you get tight on Konate, that's going to be a battle, key battle.
Yeah, that's that. A couple of questions here that going back in time for the old school boys, Shane, DJB, and Kenny Ken. I'll go with this one. Let's go with this one. How good was Colin Bell? Anybody remember him?
I do remember
Fantastic.
Colin Bell. Yeah, good player. Very intelligent player.
Great player. Yeah, I remember him back in the 70s.
He had a great first touch.
Yeah,
his first touch was really elite.
Was he part of that great City side? Do you know the side of like the late 60s?
Okay.
Really elite.
And 80s. They had Franny Lee, Mike Somerby,
Franny Lee.
Yeah.
Mike Somerby.
Mick Doyle, that sort of those
Mickey
sort of players.
Doyle,
Yeah, Mick Doyle, those sort of players. Tony Book. Yeah, those are the kind of players that.
Tony Brook. Jeez, yeah, I remember. Yeah, what player?
Tony Book's captain. Yeah, it's a good little side there. Do you know what I mean? And they had like local Mancunians as well in that team as well. Glenn Pardo was in that side, although he's. Do
you remember the shirt, Kenny? Do you remember the shirt? Light blue with that stripe, and it was a stripe down the. I can't remember what side it was, left or right. It's a light blue shirt. It's like a
maroon,
like what Shane's wearing tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
ring net, and it had that stripe down. Classic shirt that was. I remember that as a kid.
You know the thing with Colin Bell? I think when all these players kind of left, retired or got old, obviously which players do, that's when Man City went in decline because they finished second in 1977 in the league, and after that it was decline. It was just it was like a slow decline. Remember they spent millions of pounds on players like remember Kevin Reeves spent from Norwich, and they bought Steve Daly, I think from Wolves, broke the record, didn't they? And they bought Chero Francis, and then they started to get relegated, isn't it? Relegation, come up, relegation.
I went down to Division 3. Do you remember they went down from?
Yeah, that's it.
Colin Bell was a top player. I mean, he scored he was well over 500 appearances for City, and I think he scored over. I think he scored. I might be wrong. I'm sure he scored over 150 goals from a midfield player. I mean, that's like that was like the modern day equivalent of Frank Lampard.
Frank Lampard,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He was some player. He was some player, Colin Bell. Yeah. 100%.
Well, good England player. It's another one, another good one here. Right.
Yeah, Kawaja, he can't handle pressure, but he's going to have to, Kawaja, because this season, if he doesn't win, the lights, the police lights are going to illuminate on him, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, he'll go down quicker than a Christmas tree.
01 Zinhino were Nottingham Forest really good back in.
Oh, bloody
fantastic. Win a league and then win two European Cups in a row.
It'll never be done. It'll never be done again. Never be done again.
That was a team, man.
They did it in style.
Malmo, and then back-to-back European Cups. Malmo, then Hamburg.
And League Cups. Let's not forget the League Cups as well.
League Cups, yeah.
They won the league. Remember they won the League Cup in beat Liverpool in a very controversial Old Trafford penalty. Yeah. And the next season they beat Southampton. And they actually got to the final in 1980 and lost due to a mix-up between Needham and Shilton, and Andy Gray won it for Wolves. So for that period, it wasn't just Europe. They won Europe. They dominated. It was the League Cup that dominated. They was pretty much the league.
Brian Clough, right? Brian Clough, Peter Taylor, right? What a combo they were as management.
Yeah.
He never won an FA Cup.
No.
Yeah.
That hurt him.
Shearer, wasn't it? Shearer never won an FA Cup. I mean, that Forest team, again, it was similar to George Graham's sort of 89 team. It wasn't really blessed with what you would call... I mean, they're great players now because of what they achieved. But at the time when they were signed, they weren't like, whoa, God, well, this player here, look who Nottingham Forest have just gone and bought.
Yeah, they were greater than the sum of the parts.
Very similar to the George Graham 89 season and what we done with that team.
You didn't bring players from Derby. He brought 3 players from Derby County, the one that won the league because of him.
He had Robertson on the wing, didn't he? That Johnny Robertson.
His career was going nowhere. His career was going nowhere before Cloughie got there.
It was incredible what he done for that player
as well. Yeah. Such a shame to see him go down in his last season as well.
some of them players, what he used to, how he got the best out of those players, what he done for them players was just incredible.
He's a motivator.
No other manager would ever do that again.
Nah, not at all.
He was incredible manager.
Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, they were just a complete one-off, weren't they?
Mm.
You know what they achieved is
Kenny Burns, Kenny Burns.
What
he turned Kenny Burns into.
He was a forward, wasn't he?
Played him as centre half, didn't he?
Yeah, he played him as centre half. He got the bit. He got the last bit.
The reg tags. Yeah, look.
That's right.
That's a brilliant shirt he's wearing there, Shane. Look.
That's a nice shirt.
That one. What a shirt.
No, Forest back in the day. You think about Forest. You know, they had a little rivalry with Liverpool because Liverpool had their noses put out joint, didn't it? Because not only did Forest take the league title of them, they took their precious European Cups of them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because Liverpool won the first one European Cups in 77 and 78. The Forest won it in 79 and 1980. And in the first round, knockout stages in 78, 79.
They played Liverpool, didn't they?
Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Pads. That's a question, isn't it? I've watched the film on this, but
I have.
It was quite evident that Brian Clough, after Don Revie, right? It was Don Revie, wasn't it? Don Revie?
Yeah.
Don Revie. That he basically went in there. He upset the apple cart, didn't he? That was Brian Clough's way. He just like.
Do you remember the line he came out with? You can bin all your medals and all your trophies that you've ever won and put them in the bin because you only ever won them by bloody cheating.
Yeah, that's a great accent, actually.
That's a brilliant impression, actually, DJ.
That's really good.
He was one of my heroes, Brian Clough. I absolutely adored him.
I used to love him.
If he was England manager,
he wouldn't have it. Can you imagine Brian Clough? Can you imagine Brian Clough coming out with criticism against Arteta? Can you imagine it?
Brian Clough
would absolutely kill him, wouldn't he? I mean, the thing is, Clough, he was no nonsense. He was never going to get the England job. He was too awkward to handle. He says it what it was.
He wouldn't last in today's football. He wouldn't last in today's football because
no.
So many players are precious. I mean, the minute you stopped, the minute the apprentices stopped cleaning the boots and stopped doing the chores around the dressing room, you know, Brian Clough became redundant. Do you remember there was a time?
But Leeds players definitely down tools.
Yeah. Do you remember the story about him and Darren Wassell when he said he had something wrong with his hand?
Yeah.
And Brian Clough spat in it. He said, "Yeah, it should be better now." And that didn't go too well. Or when he used to punch people in the stomach if they made a mistake, like Roy Keane.
He put Roy Keane on his back on the team bus, didn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, what he said to Stuart Pearce when he first got his England call up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He said, "You ain't going to change nothing yet, young man."
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, right? Leeds did down tools. They was never going to take to Clough's style of play, and they got away with too much.
DJB. You know, they never recovered afterwards. They got to final in that year in a little the Champions League. After that, it was nowhere. Leeds were just nowhere.
No.
And they got relegated 7 years later.
Yeah.
After he left.
Archie Gemmell's goal, I remember it well, 78.
Archie Gemmell.
Where he dribbled through for Scotland, where he dribbled through and
Henry Little Wayne. I call Archie Wayne.
Do you remember the Strachan goal where he made out he was going to jump the thing, but he realised he was too small and he just cocked his leg up?
Oh, that was it was against Germany. In Germany, that's right.
Yeah. He was some player and all, wasn't he, Gordon Strachan?
Oh, what a player.
There was back in the day, you had some rock. The thing is, they were.
We tried to sign David Dean. Tried to sign him apparently from Aberdeen.
Yeah.
He was up trying to get Alex Ferguson in as well. He touted Alex Ferguson before George Graham.
He was linked to Arsenal heavily, wasn't he, Gordon Strachan?
Yeah. We're going to wrap it up, boys.
Brilliant.
Sorry,
excellent.
In the comments. Shane, my friend. What you got coming up, my friend?
Yeah, no, big up for having me on. As always, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love looking back on football back in the day. Big up to the chat as well. Make sure you're slapping the likes and subbing to everybody on the panel. I'll be back tomorrow morning for the full Irish, as always. And then I have something else tomorrow that I can't remember, but I'll put a post out about it. And then, of course, I'll have the Bruised Banana Thursday night panel show. It's all set up, I think, so make sure that you hit the notifications for that. But main thing, of course, 10:30 tomorrow morning, the full Irish. Hit the notifications so you don't miss it. And I'll see you all in the morning. Big up to everybody.
Shane, thank you for the 2 hours and all that. Well, it's been more than 2 hours, isn't it, mate? But you're sick and tired of me now, mate. But big up to Shane. Thank you.
And as for you, DJB?
Yeah, I've got. I'm on with Dan. I'm on with Dan later on at 10, and probably Kenny is as well. Dan at 10 o'clock, roundabout. So I don't know who's going on there. I'm a little bit dreading it this week, to be honest. I don't know if I can hold myself together, but I will go on there. And then I've got. I'm doing a midweek mingle. It's called the midweek mingle. Me and Nomsky tomorrow.
All right.
I'm going to try and get along to yours on Thursday, Jez, but I'm normally quite busy on a Thursday with my son and stuff, so I will try though, my friend, 100%. And that's it. And then the weekend, I'm just going to take some time out, and I'm going to go on obviously Arsenal Liverpool, and then I'll be back for my Sunday sit back session, which is a late one on a Sunday, and then I'll run some live streams next week. Get yourself on, Jez and Kenny Ken, and we'll do some chatting about Arsenal and Shane and that. And then the retro show on Tuesday, which is always good. Oh, I think we've got DG as well, isn't it? Deluded tomorrow. I keep forgetting about that one. Deluded tomorrow as well. So, yeah, all good, man. Thank you for the chat as well. Make sure you sub to everyone. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate it.
Just going to say that. Make sure you go and sub to these great channels, people. They put great content out. You know, they work well. They're nuts off to give you entertainment, and it's all free. That's the thing. So smash your bloody likes and go and bloody subscribe. Kenny Ken, my friend, where can we find you? Oh, I know I say this every time, but we've got to find you on Instagram.
Kenny Ken 1972. I'm going to do something with Dan later. DG. I'm going to try and come on the show, but I've got a call at, it's on Thursday, and then the weekend's just going to be just enjoying the rains of this hot weather, and obviously looking forward to the Liverpool Arsenal game. You know, it's a massive, massive game. You know, I'm going to see it for it tonight, Liverpool Arsenal game. I'm sure there's going to be content creators who are going to make out as though it's some sort of rivalry. Rivalry's only built if you take trophies of each other.
Absolutely.
Big up, people. Big up. Council of Councils. When is the next quiz? It's going to be during the international break. The Ball Fest. That is the Ball Fest, basically. I've got the quiz. It's all written up. It's all about Arsenal. And I will tell you, Kenny, Shane, DJB, if you want to join, there's some absolute shitbag questions in there. I wouldn't have a clue myself. I wouldn't. Honestly, I'm not lying. I wouldn't have a fucking.
Well, what chances have we got then, Jez, if you don't know?
Well, mate, I don't know everything. But
he's a quiz master, isn't he?
Oh, no. The thing is, right, just because I don't know it, doesn't mean you don't know it. Because you go, that's an easy one. You know, what are you talking about, Jez? That's a piece of piss question. But I'm going to do that in the international break. And I've got to get old. The one person who never answers his bloody Instagram is fucking Kyle. Nightmare, man. Shane, kick him up the arse because
I can send you. I have his WhatsApp if you want his number. I can send you his number.
Kick him up the arse and say answer his bloody Instagram. I invite him. They will come back a day later. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. Oh, fuck off, man.
Hey, Chase, I'm going to have to pop. The shopping deliveries arrived, so I think it's a heavy duty work. So I'll see you guys soon.
Kenny, see you, mate. Cheers, buddy.
Right, that's it.
The old guard, Johnny D again.
Tomorrow night, I'm on with young Aaron on his stream. Then Thursday night, 7 o'clock, you gentlemen. Well, DJ, if you can't make it, don't worry. It's not a problem. I'm on. Got Lee, Kenny, Shane's on, and Matty. So that's 7 o'clock on Thursday night. So that'd be a showing off.
Yeah.
And everybody, thanks for watching. Go and support and subscribe to these great people: Shane Gooner, DJB, the absolute real ones. They put the content out. Please give them the support they deserve. Yeah, smash it up for these people. And we're out of here, gentlemen. Take care.
Yeah, big up, Jez. Thank you very much.
Take care.